Abuja. Hello, my city people. How are we all doing today? Good evening. I am Saadatu Anisa Sharif, your host, and this is the Capital City Podcast on Real Power 100.5 FM. Yes, my voice is better today, and that's because Salah, I just enjoyed my Eid, and now we're back, and we're going to finish the last episode of our International Women's Month series. The topic for today is Happy Relationships, Happy You, a guide for young women. Listen, this whole month we cater to every woman around every age, and now it's for our little girls, our baby girls, our younger sisters, our young friends. Let's have a conversation. What really are we going through in this life, and how can we navigate our relationships? Our relationship with our family, our relationship with our friends, and our relationship with our significant other. I have with me in the studio an amazing guest, an it girl, an all-round creative wellness expert and entrepreneur. She's here with me today for us to really talk about it. How can we have a happy relationship, and how can we respect the boundaries that we're trying to build? So my young girls, my young sisters, stay back, relax. I'll be right back. Okay, my city people, welcome back. Like I promised, our topic for today is Happy Relationships, Happy You, a guide for young women. And in the studio with me, I have Miss Maria Ajoke Paul. Welcome to the studio, Maria.
Thank you for having me. So happy to be here.
How are you feeling today?
Feeling excited, refreshed, great. Awesome.
How did you enjoy your holiday?
It was fine. It was very eventful.
Okay, so like we said, Happy Relationships, Happy You. We want to have a group of questions that we'd like you to address. You know, it's very important for young women, especially younger girls, 18 and below, 18 and above, just before 25, to actually try and navigate their relationships in that. And think back when you were younger, how you would have really hoped and prayed for somebody to kind of talk about it or relate to what you're really going through. So it's very important that we really want to hear your honest opinion, and then we'll have an amazing episode. So my first question to you is, what does a healthy and happy relationship truly look like for a young woman today?
I think a healthy and happy relationship for today's young women is, I think I would say in a more generalized context is how content you are with your situation. I feel like most people tend to be unappreciative or ungrateful or unhappy where it is they are in their relationships with their family, and that's probably because of maybe even communication issues. Some people have issues expressing themselves, fully saying what it is that's in their mind honestly to their families or their friends or like their significant others and everything. So I think when you're content in whatever state it is you're in, with your communication, with how you feel towards people, your empathy for people, I think that's how I would say you can know that, okay, yes, I actually feel like I am in a healthy relationship with these people. Do you get what I mean? When you're able to freely have conversations that can lead to conflict, but there's a way out of that conflict as well too. So I think just having that general like peace and stability and trust in yourself is how you can like feel, okay, yes, I am in a healthy relationship.
You know, for younger girls, especially because when your life is already structured for you, most times you go from school to school to school to school and eventually a job. So you don't really have particular times that you're being taught of how to navigate the everyday life. And things like relationship, people wouldn't really know what is healthy.
Yeah.
Because you think back, like I said, to your 18-year-old self, you won't really know what is healthy. All you know is that you like this person, either your mom, your dad, your family, your friends, and you choose to want to be around this person.
Yeah.
And it takes you a while, especially as aspect of disappointment, heartbreak. Some people really take it heavy upon themselves. So that's why, like, we really need to explain to younger girls, like, what you think is happening to you today is not the end game for it. Which brings me to my next question. How can young women build self-worth and identity before entering a relationship? So this relationship is like friendship with your significant other, with your friends. How can a woman really build that self-worth?
For building your self-worth, it just goes back to, I would say, introspection. I think when you're certain, or not really certain, when you look within yourself, you know your values, you know your morals, you know the people around you. I think that also really helps confidence-wise, because when you already know what you believe in and you trust what you believe in, it's not, I won't say it's easy, but then it's easier for you to walk somewhere confidently and show yourself and be like, okay, yes, these are my morals, these are my values, these are the boundaries I have as well. So when you already know that, like, there are a lot of things for you to learn on the way as well too. You can never actually get it right. But at least, like, when you have that trust in your values and your morals, it's easier for you to be able to speak up about what it is you actually do in. And even sound confident, even though you're not actually confident. Because some of us are actually really just, like, scared at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like, you know, our inner child, like ourselves, like, we're all still afraid at the end of the day. But then, still going out there scared is really what even makes more of a difference.
You know, you definitely said something here, bringing up the inner child, because even if it's 100-year-old woman, you still have that inner child, your inner young self. And it's very good for us to always navigate that inner young person, because you know what happens, you can't be in your 20s, 30s or 40s or even your 50s trying to now heal your inner child. So sometimes as a young woman listening to this, you have an idea, what is this healthy thing? What's this boundary that they're talking about? Boundary is respect.
Yeah.
And respect is like, particularly according to how a person will want to see it, because what might be respectful to you might not be respectful to me. So when you build your own aspect of what you like or what you navigate as respect, then you start with the aspect of building strong boundaries. Many people say you cannot pour from an empty cup. How does self-love impact relationships? Because you see that self-love is, people say they think self-love is, oh, let me go to the spa, or let me go and do my nails, let me get a very good hair. But you have a nasty attitude, or you actually have a very terrible personality. So sometimes it's not really your fault, because that self-awareness is not really there. So how can you now build that self-love so that you'll be able to give out the love that you really want?
I think just even knowing that at the end of the day, like, who you are is what you're going to reflect onto other people. If you're a hateful person, if you're a vengeful person, it's going to be very obvious. Everybody around you is going to see it. Especially if you're somebody that contradicts the environment around you, then you're like, oh no, I don't want to be hateful, I don't want to be vengeful. But you actually are that thing, and you pretend that, like, oh, you're just like, you love yourself, but that's not actually really the truth of your situation. And other people can actually see that as well too. So I think, like, sitting down and actually thinking about, like, your life, thinking about how you want to present yourself today, honestly and truly. Is this actually how you feel? Is this actually what you want to express? Is this actually who it is you are? Do you get what I mean? Introspecting, actually thinking and knowing what it is are your characteristics, your traits and everything, the good and the bad, everything all together. I feel when you know that and you try to, like, express what you would term as self-love, that could be just even you, like, spending the day, like, whatever religion it is you practice, doing that, you know, talking to people and trying to, like, understand from their own perspective how they actually, like, love themselves as well. So not really taking what the person is saying, but picking what it is you need from what that person has said in regards to self-love. Just talking to people you trust around you. I think, like, those grounding elements can really help. Even having your friends around you, like, actually, like, getting genuine opinions from people when you ask them about your personality and everything.
You know, like, that age, 18 to 25, is really a particular time that you feel like you know yourself, or you feel like you're ready to go out and be yourself. But when you get to that particular age, especially 25, you don't realize that you don't know anything. Exactly. So you are now coming down your late 20s and you're just like, I wish I had done this or known this better. So that is why if we're telling young girls now, like, having self-love is just looking at yourself, like, how can I make decisions that are better for me? And by choosing the people around you or choosing your relationships, that's really will determine what you will treat at the end of in your late 20s. If in your early 20s you've decided, or in your late teens you've decided that you want to have bad friends, you know what your bad friend is. You know how you are picking from that friend. You know what you know. Even if your parents, sometimes parents or other people around might see a person and think that that's a good person or that's an incredible person, but you that you're doing every day with that person, you know how the real person, when they talk about how real that person is, it's not a facade, it's this really who the person is. So those kind of relationships, you have to really, really, really be very serious about the people that you pick around you, because they will determine the cure or the trauma you are going to start healing in your late 20s. So it's better to make sense and make wise decisions when they come to say, okay, self-love. What is that self-love? If you're still in school and you're really serious about school, you want to pass school, be friends with people that are good with school. But you cannot be friends with people that are not good with school and expect that your life will be great. Or you understand? Follow who no road. So when they are talking about self-love, it's not about sitting and saying, wow, I'm so beautiful, I love myself. That's not what we mean. It's about the decisions that you make that will actually attribute whether you're living, whether you love yourself. Love yourself, for example, is you know this friend is not good, or you know you are coming from a toxic situation, or you know the things that will make your parents angry. angry, don't do it. Avoid it, because all those being genuine and picking out your peace of mind, your goals. If you know you're like trying to finish school, you're trying to finish your course, and you're like, okay, let me just go through with this step by step by step. At the end of the day, that's the mid-20s or your late 20s will determine how whether you smile back or you are going to be treating trauma. My next question, Maria, is what are some early signs of a healthy versus unhealthy relationship that young women should be aware of?
That's a very interesting question because I think like even like me tracing back to like even when I was young, like I can only like speak of how I felt in that moment. It wasn't really something I knew because when you're around like friends with the energy that's not really aligned with your life path, like I feel there's a way you feel uncomfortable in that space. You tend to pretend more. You actually don't feel like yourself. Do you get what I mean? When you're around those friends, it feels like I'm not supposed to be in this group, but let me just be here. At least people like know these people. These people are like fucking people. Let me be around these people so I can like, that kind of like surface level reputation is what you're trying to build and everything. So I think like once you start having those thoughts in your mind, like when you're about to maybe go out with somebody and it's like, should I go for this thing? Like I don't really like this person like that, but let me just see what's, I feel like once you feel that way, I think that's just kind of like a signal to yourself that like, okay, am I actually on the right path? Am I actually like in line with how I want to grow later on in the future? Do you know what I mean? And I think for when you feel like you're in that right space, like there's not really too much of questioning. It may even feel strange, but like it feels like you're actually supposed to be here. Like you feel free inside. Your heart isn't like racing to the point that like you feel like you're going to be in trouble if you're in this space. Like it's leading to something great. So I think just like focusing on how you feel when you're moving with people is really important, because I feel like we as human beings honestly can tell, like genuinely, if you tap into it, how like whether or not you're supposed to be around a certain group of people in a certain space. So I think really it's just like based on honesty.
I love the way you hammer that, because the serious thing is that 18 to 25, a lot of things that happen is people don't know themselves, so you tend to follow your friends. Or tend to follow people that you think have reputation. Oh, you want to be friends with a popular girl. But that popular person doesn't really treat you well, doesn't really respect you. Because I can remember now tracing back a lot of people around that age. Because if you look at the late teens, they are very unauthentic. Like everybody's trying to be like the next girl. Or you're trying to be the finest.
Like,
you're trying to
different personalities from
because
people.
a lot of time around that age, like this is why I'm hammering on the honesty of this conversation is for parents to also understand where kids are coming from. Because sometimes really you cannot, if you like tell your child she's beautiful every day, if she steps outside and she wants to be friends with that person that's not a good person, that's what she's going to find herself in. So it's very important that you build in that authenticity, like who am I, do I really want to be? And it's not about, you can never really finally have the answer, but the first step is not being somebody else.
Exactly.
If you are trying to find yourself, don't start by trying to be someone else. Don't try and be friends with someone that you know has no respect for you whatsoever or doesn't treat you well. Because I know that there's a girl out there that is listening to this right now. Sometimes they are really like the people's pleaser. Because around that age, you want to please everybody, but that's not right. Because let me tell you, in your late 20s, you will come and be treating that trauma of people pleasing.
The more you follow you, the longer
the more you do it, the longer don't do that. Just focus on what you're trying to do, which is, if I'm trying to become a lawyer, or I'm trying to become a doctor, or I really want to, even in this aspect of creatives now, I want to be a musician, I want to write, I want to be like a career star. So be it. Find out, okay, how can I be like this person? I have talent in music. How can I make myself better? Start watching the videos that will improve you. Start taking courses for those that want to be with music. We all had it. Times was like, I didn't have money to pay for a producer, so I learned to become a producer. And now she's not just anyhow artist, she's actually a Grammy. Do you understand? So imagine at that young age, she was like, oh no, let me go and follow the bad friends that will show me. Maybe she might never end up being who she is, but she stayed authentic to herself. And she used that free time to learn a skill, which now in her late 20s, she's being celebrated for it. So these are all like basic examples of like trying to navigate between the healthy and the unhealthy. But one major red flag is when you are trying to be somebody else.
Exactly.
Young girls, don't do that.
I think one thing I'll touch on it as well too is like also knowing that when you're even like trying to learn something from somebody else, I really think it's very important to have that grounding within yourself first, so you know what to pick from that person that is necessary for your own experience. Because like even if you strive, you say you want to be like one of these like artists and everything, like I feel like it's very important to know what to pick and choose from that person, because we all should remember that we are actually uniquely different. Every single person on this planet is uniquely different. everybody's experience is different. Not one person has the same exact experience.
Yeah.
So once you know that, you're able to build your own story authentically, and then just grab what you need from people that inspire you.
Yeah.
So that now makes you even more of like who it is you actually are.
You know this thing we're talking about, let's still remember that the people listening, that this information is meant for, don't know.
Yeah.
So when you're saying things like, oh, be grounded in yourself, what do you mean by that? Because I know at 18 to 25, I didn't know what was grounded. Ground myself where? So where am I grounded to? But like, how can you?
Actually, yeah, that's a good
so what?
point.
So yeah, how
I
can
think so.
somebody
Grounding really is still like, like what I said earlier, like
Yeah.
stating what you believe in, whether that be, let's say, when it comes to your morals, like I don't know, I never use like specific words because I don't know like how to like explain like morals and values for other people. I'll say like for my
relate
own
it to
context.
yourself? Yeah.
I think like what I value the most for me now at this very moment is building my career. Do you get what I mean? Like, and other things that come in that. Let's say like my religion and everything, like my faith. There are a lot of things that I'm taught as well too that I genuinely believe in and I trust in it.
Yeah.
So those things, like even from things you've learned from your parents, you can even if you want to value money, self, like you can do that if you want to do that. So it's just really picking like what is important to you. You know, and then now building from that. So once you already know what's important to you, because what's important to you to somebody else is not really important. You know, so when you already know what's important to you, it's easier for you to know, okay, yes, this is already for me and I'm good with this. What else do I need to add to this?
And I like how you said that, because you know, again, that age of 18 to 25, you're consuming everything.
Yeah.
Especially now that social media is just getting worse every year. So before that, you have social media to learn. Now it really exposes you to your life. So mentioning the thing about your faith, you could be coming up from a very strict religious background or family, but what you are accessing with your phone, your parents or your family actually have no control over. So if your parents are trying to teach you to be this devoted Christian, but on you, on the other hand, what you are looking at, I want to be this freedom person, I want to be able to wear the outfits I want to wear, I want to wear my micro mini skirt and go out because that's what's raining. See, like what we're highlighting is, if that is something that you value, of course it is very normal to have that youthful exuberance that you're just like, okay, I want to try everything and do everything. But remember that if it's something that's going to catch up with you in your late 20s, we're warning you now.
Exactly.
Make the right decision so that when you come to your late 20s, you will not say that we did not advise you.
Yeah.
So my next question, Maria, in a world influenced by social media, how can young women avoid comparison and unrealistic relationship expectations? Because let's bring it down now to the two major relationships a woman builds outside: relationship with her friends and her relationship with her significant other. The reality is that as a late teen or early 20s girl, you're already getting attention from men, you're getting attention from like different people. Everybody's trying to tell you what it is about you. You're beautiful. That's the major thing they'll start telling you. You're beautiful. Nobody's trying to use your brain.
Yeah.
But like, you now that you're listening to this episode, what would you say can like help that person avoid comparison and unrealistic relationship expectations? Now, if people are seeing girls trip, because they are seeing girls in their late 20s entering flights, going abroad, you now think you are 19, you can go. You now want all these things are unrealistic. So can we like really give them advice on how they can navigate that?
My first honest advice is to spend less time on social media. I think for me, growing up, when I was even like 18, 19, 17, I used to I was actively online. Like I was always scrolling, I was always checking what was going on.
You don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, so that's I told before. So I didn't even realize how that was even impacting like my self-worth and my self-confidence and my self-esteem, because I was always on my phone. I was always seeing so many, because like even as human beings, like it's not natural for us to see all these things at once in one go. Do you get what I mean? It's really a new thing for our generation and everything. So I really believe that spending less time on social media is one step that can really help you towards building your self-esteem. Because now everybody's addicted to their phones.
Yes.
So, and honestly speaking, like the less time you spend on it, the more time you're able to sit with yourself, the more time you're able to see your actual genuine experiences, and you compare yourself with people you can visually see around you. Do you get what I mean? That doesn't really solve like, okay, because I'm offline now, I'm going to be confident and everything. No, like it's also like deeper work you have to do within yourself when it comes to building your self-esteem. Like talk to yourself more, talk to yourself in a mirror, like speak to people more honestly. Like when you have a thought in your head, don't overthink it or contradict it. Just say it as it is and hear from people honestly what they think about that thing. That's how you can get honest feedback. And I think honest feedback as well is one way for people to know exactly where they are at and how they can build themselves better from that point that they're at. You know, but one thing for sure is just try to stay off social media as much as you can. So, yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the number to call in is 08056826499. I go again, 08056826499. The topic is Happy Relationships, Happy You, a guide for young women. Maria, let's really talk about this thing. What role does communication play in maintaining a happy and balanced relationship? Communication with your family,
Communication is key. Communication is very, very key. I think we were able to speak up about something that's bothering you, because one thing I struggled with growing up was speaking up and actually even when it comes to school, like saying like, okay, I actually don't understand this thing because I'm scared of how people will see me and they're like, she doesn't know this thing, so why would she not know this thing? That she just never spoke up. I never like actually said what was truly on my mind, and that really held me back in my growth as well too, because if you're not able to speak truly what's coming from your mind, like what else will you be able to say? Everything that you project outwardly would probably be a lie, because like you actually don't even know yourself, and it's not even an intentional lie. It's just something that comes out because you've not been able to speak up and truly say what's on your mind. So I think when you like learn communication and you learn how to really like say what is on your mind, like speak to people more articulately about what is going on with you. I think even one thing that really even helps building your communication is reading. I think one thing that helped me was reading books. Like I read a lot of books I saw other people's perspectives and opinions. I saw different ways I could use words to express how I was actually feeling. Because it was a thing whereby like I probably didn't know what vocabulary to use for how I was feeling in this particular context. So maybe you stammer or you be shaky and you don't really know how to like say this thing. Or maybe you're just even scared because of maybe from your childhood you experienced some trauma. Maybe when you said something or you spoke up, it like immediately shut you down and told you, oh, be quiet. So I think like finding like knowing like your traumas, like where you were limited when you were a child, when you were in school, when you were at home, knowing those things and trying to work your way out of them can really help you build your communication and help you speak more confidently to people.
I like how you highlighted that the communication should start with yourself, because when you learn to communicate with yourself, you know how to communicate with others. And in trying to build all those things, pointers that we're telling you, things like having confidence in yourself, knowing where you want to be in your late 20s. If you really learn how to ask yourself genuine questions, it can help you in accepting and not accepting certain things. So just right away, finally, Maria, what advice would you give to a young woman who is seeking both a happy relationship and a fulfilled personal life?
I'll say firstly, give yourself grace, because most of the experiences you had when you were younger, like most of the time, it wasn't really under your control. And even if you did intentionally make those mistakes, I think giving yourself grace and not allowing it to haunt you for the rest of your life would allow you to move on smoothly, move on in a healthy manner. So giving yourself grace, I would say pick up more books in like this generation we're in. Like nobody is really like reading again. Like even if it's even if it's an ebook or something, like just pick up a book and actually like hear other people's perspectives. Like read more, talk to yourself more. Even if you talk to yourself in the mirror, even if you're just sitting down on your bed, you're not a crazy person.
Don't worry, be mad. In your late 20s, when they're treating their trauma, you'll be smiling.
Do you know that? Exactly. So like just talk to yourself more. Like ask your family more questions. Be that person in your family that like breaks those boundaries. Like all those questions you were not allowed to ask. Like actually ask them so you can know more.
How can I be a better woman? How can I be a better sister?
Exactly. Know more of your family history. There's so many things as well. So I think for now, because of time, like just those three things is what I'll say. Talk to yourself more, read more, give yourself grace.
So thank you so much, Maria. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. Thank you very much for joining us on our International Women's Month series. Next week, by God's grace, will be April Fool, and we have a plan for you. So thank you for listening and see you next week. Love, love, love. Bye. Thank you. So come to the side. Thank you.